Nizondile, guys. Story time on how I got deported from Mexico. I just, there's so many things that I want to say and I don't know where to start. Those who know me, my closest family, friends, whatever, they knew my trip. They knew what I was planning. So it was my sister's 40th. Was supposed to celebrate my sister's 40th in Mexico, Cancun to be exact. And we've been planning this trip for a long time. But yeah, I was supposed to arrive in Mexico on the 1st and then leave on the 10th. So 10 days at a beautiful resort. We had excursions planned. We had outfits picked out. I'm just gonna give you reasons not to go to Mexico. And the main reason is racism. The main reason I was deported from Mexico was because they saw my Zimbabwean passport and they said, Naiwa, Nyeg, this Zimbabwean lady is not getting into our country, so let's find something to pin on her. And the excuse was my reservation at the hotel was cancelled, which was not true at all. There was a reservation that was cancelled, yes, but then it was changed and moved, and there was a reservation under my sister's name. Well, we were together. I moved my reservation and we're meant to be in the same room together. They didn't call the hotel, by the way. So how they know that reservation was cancelled is beyond me, because obviously my sister was at the resort and the resort was trying to call immigration and say we are waiting for this person, she has a reservation. But yeah, racism is the number one reason. Secondly, nobody knows English. So whatever you're going to try to explain to these people, they're not going to get it. And they didn't even try to call the resort anyway, because if they did, my name would have been there. And the lady was just sitting there and she was looking at me and saying, you, I don't know about you. And she was looking at me from head to toe, like, you African, I don't know about you, because if I let you into my country, I'm going to regret it. So yeah, just don't go to Mexico. Just don't go to Mexico. Let's go on. After being told that I can't enter the country, they put me into detention in this dirty room with filthy toilets. They couldn't even have the decency to fill up the water containers for us to drink water. I was held there, sleeping on a thin plastic mattress in the cold with these foil, I suppose you call them thermal blanket. It's like tin foil, but one that doesn't break up, you know. And those were limited. I only got mine after other people left. So I was freezing in there. There's ants on the floor. You can tell people were eating food. There's dirt on the floor. The toilets were filthy. The toilets were just so disgusting. And you don't even have a phone or a torch to try and see before you try and use the toilet. They're so dirty. Here. And just to give you an idea of how many, I had to travel 2 days to get there. So I was tired. When I got off the plane, all I could think about was, I can't wait to just get to the resort, have a shower, start my holiday. But no, I ended up in a detention center for a hotel reservation, and they didn't even call that hotel. My sister was there. Hotel confirmed that immigration did not call them, but they had the nerve to tell me that my hotel reservation was cancelled. And you don't have your phone, by the way. They take your phone away. I didn't get my phone until I was getting onto the flight like just getting onto the flight, because I had a flight from Mexico to Lima to Peru. So that's when they handed me the phone, just when I'm stepping onto their flight. Otherwise, my phone was taken away. So there's no way I could take pictures and show you guys the utter cruelty I went through on this trip. For over 24 hours, I stayed in that room. And there was no white person that was in there. There was just Africans, there was Jamaicans, there were other people from Colombia and other Spanish-speaking countries. Yeah. So I sat there in the cold, and while I was there, I just thought to myself, sure, what have I done to deserve this? Like, I understand that there's people that go into other people's countries and mess up, and Zimbabweans being those people. I only got my passport when I landed in Australia. And while I was in there, obviously, I couldn't communicate with my sister, I couldn't communicate with my husband. I don't even know what they were thinking. Maybe I was kidnapped or something, because that would have been the first thing, because you know the stories in Mexico about people getting kidnapped and trafficked and whatnot. And here I am, I land in a foreign country, and no communication, nothing. And the racism, just, I don't know what to say to you people, but that's not the place to go to when you have this kind of skin color. Just don't do it. Another thing I want to just say is, Zimbabweans, you people make me sick. You make me sick, because the reason why they looked at my passport like that is because of you and your things of getting into people's countries and doing the worst you can possibly do. You get to people's countries, and the reason is because Zimbabweans go to Mexico and then they find ways to get into the US, into America, without, whether they jump the border or whatever, that's what they do. So now they look at me and they say, this one, she's not going home. And that was it. My holiday ruined. I've lost money, I've lost time, I'm tired. I was on the plane for so many hours, just time wasted. So yeah, as much as I'm pissed off at Mexico, I'm also pissed off at my fellow Zimbabweans, because we get treated the way we get treated because of people that just go into other people's countries and just act a fool. So I got punished for other people's bull. While in detention, I also spoke to some of the people there, and there was quite a few that were there because of reservations. One of them was a group from Jamaica who had booked their flight, like a package deal where you book your flights and pay for your hotels all at once, and then immigration says you don't have a hotel reservation. So they ask immigration, that's fine, can we at least call our agent to see what happened? Because maybe the agent, maybe there was, it's a hotel reservation, something can go wrong. And considering the fact that people don't speak English in that country, there can be a lot of miscommunication. So people need time to just give the agent a call. What if the agent was the one who made the mistake? Or, what if it was just a genuine mistake, that your name is not popping up on the hotel, or the person who answered the phone just didn't see your name, or they didn't pronounce your name properly, or whatever. They said no. They didn't, and they didn't even get a phone call. They were told that there's no Wi-Fi in this airport. So that just gives you an idea of how they discriminate. That just gives you the slightest idea of how they discriminate. The Wi-Fi was there, it connected to my phone, because when I connected to the Wi-Fi, all my messages started coming through, because as soon as I landed I couldn't. And then I tried to put my phone on roaming, and I was just like, where have you seen an airport without Wi-Fi? I told them I'm coming from Africa. The airports in Africa have Wi-Fi, and here you are, you think you're special, you don't even have Wi-Fi at your airport. Ish. Yeah. Just don't go to Mexico. There's so many things I want to say, but I'm just tired. I was just freezing in that room, just sitting in a corner, just freezing, just thinking how many days I'm gonna be here. What is my husband thinking? What is my sister thinking? It's been the worst experience I've ever had. I've never been treated like that in my life. And being treated by people that are considered black as well. It's just not the place to be. Those people don't want us in their country. And there's so many other places to go. And there's no way that I can. And then I'm not gonna come here and start crying over Mexico. No, my life goes on. I'm at a hotel in Melbourne, getting a few days rest before I go home. My husband was like, no, just stay there and just rest and enjoy yourself before you come back home. So at least I have a few days here just to recover, because my knees hurt, my neck, my back, sitting for so many hours. The stress and just the disbelief of what just happened. I started thinking, am I really gonna make it back home? Because really my trip was actually quite troublesome from the beginning. Getting the visa, I made a mistake with the locations in the embassy. My tickets had to be changed because I couldn't get a US visa, transit visa. So I changed my tickets, and then that's how I ended up going through Santiago and Lima. So yeah, I was just in disbelief, and I was just asking myself, am I even gonna get to Australia? Am I even gonna get home? And I didn't know what Australia was gonna say, like, why were you deported? What were you going to do there? Yeah, so it was so stressful. I just landed in Australia, and I booked at a hotel that's like just walking distance from the airport. So I just got off the plane and I just walked straight to my hotel. I booked it when I landed, and then it said check-in time is at 2. I landed at like 6 o'clock, 6:30. And then it says check-in time is at 2 p.m. I called the hotel and I said, guys, I can't do it. What am I going to do from 6? I haven't showered. Of course I showered, but then you only have your carry-on luggage. So you even if you shower, you don't have your products, you don't have your real showering stuff. And then you're showering, but you're putting on the dirty clothes. So I felt so terrible. So I just wanted to just shower and just sleep. And that's exactly what I did. I got to the hotel, I showered, I went down and I had breakfast because I hadn't eaten. I did not eat in detention. I just drank water. I sipped on water. All the food that they gave me, I gave it to other people, or I threw it in the bin. What happens when you're in detention? The airline is the one that comes and give you food. So they were coming to give me this ham and cheese sandwich and a fizzy drink. I never even touched it. And then there were other people whose airline couldn't give them food. So I was just handing it over to them. And I met some nice people who were just feeling sorry for me because I was the only one who could speak English for majority of the time. Most of the people they looked African, but they were speaking Spanish. So I still couldn't communicate with these people. And I was just sitting there in the corner by myself. I was so cold and Some of them were just coming to just tap me and say, are you okay? Do you want food? Like they would offer me their food and I'm like, no. Just water. What about water? I said, no. Guys, don't go to Mexico. Don't go to Mexico. We're going there to spend our money there in a place where they don't even want you. There's better places to go. There's really better places to go. And even my sister's like, nah, I'm never even going to attempt going back into Mexico. So I was escorted by security through the airports. I mean, okay, you don't want me in Mexico, that's fine. That's fine. Give me my passport and give me my boarding pass. I can go somewhere else. Like as soon as I get on the plane going out of Mexico, yeah, I can make my own way home or something. I can change my flights. I can go somewhere else. My God. And then, obviously, on my way back, I started thinking, you know, they could have went through my bag and they could have planted drugs in my bag. And then I land here and then Australia searches my bag and then they find drugs in my bag. And the paranoia. That's like the last flight, which was 14 hours from Santiago. Because coming back is 14 hours, but going to Santiago was 12 hours from Melbourne. But coming back was 14 hours. So I was just thinking. And they didn't even have the decency to tell me when my flight was leaving. There's not even a clock in the detention center, so you can't even tell the time. You just sit there and you just think, oh my God, is this a nightmare? This is a nightmare. When am I going to wake up? That was me literally just sitting just sleeping, covering my head in the detention center, like, I can't wait to wake up from this nightmare. This complete nightmare. Lingahambi, guys. Just stay at home. And I even said, the next holiday, I'm going to go to Africa. Why am I going to other people's countries when Africa is just gorgeous? And I haven't even traveled in Africa myself. So, hey, I've never seen such in my life. Yeah, that's my story time. I feel like I'm leaving stuff out, but I'm tired. I just want to jump into bed and sleep. I've got things that I want to do, but it's cold. Melbourne is also cold. Cloudy, gloomy. It's not the place to be. I can't even wear my summer outfits and everything. But yeah, it's been a waste of time. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. But at least I've shared my experience and hope it helps somebody out there. I wish I had seen someone's experience. I would have just cancelled my trip. And I was going to cancel my trip, but I kept on forcing things. That was God's sign to me, like, don't go. But people like us who like things, we just decided, we are going by fire, by force. We're going to Mexico. Hey, worst decision of my life. Worst decision of my life. I've never been treated like that. But I've never been treated like that anyway. I would expect to be treated like that in Australia. You know? I would expect to be treated that way in Australia because I came here to settle. I came here to settle in their country. Whereas I'm just coming for vacation into those people's country and they still have that. Anyway, that's my story time, guys. Don't go to Mexico. Don't go to Mexico. Please, I'm begging you. Don't go to Mexico. Let's plan a trip. All of us will go somewhere else. Just not Mexico. It's a waste of time and money. Yeah. See you next time on my next vacation. I haven't chosen. I met up with Jamaicans in detention. I met up with Jamaicans. They're so nice. Let's go to Jamaica.